So welcome to the Addison Public Library regular board meeting, April 20th, Tuesday, 2021, at 6:30 p.m. I, the president of the Public Library Board, has determined pursuant to Public Act 100-0640 SB 2135 that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent at this time because of COVID-19 health emergency. This meeting, as you can tell, is conducted via Zoom, and members of the public may join in on the meeting by clicking the link that we have. Public comments can be submitted to Mary Medjo via email or by phone no later than 6:30 today. Also, if you have any questions after today, you can still send information over to her. Please include your name and please feel free to share your address if desired. This will not be shared publicly. Comments sent to the library will be publicly. All members of the public body who are participating in this meeting, regardless of their physical location, shall be verified and able to hear one another and able to hear the discussion and testimony while we're on Zoom. All votes shall be conducted by roll call, and each member's vote on each issue shall be identified and recorded. At least one member of the public body or chief legal counsel, we have Mary Medjo who's here, will be present at this library board meeting. Each member of the public body who participates in a remote meeting held in accordance with this disaster requirement is considered present at the meeting for purposes of determining a quorum and participating in all proceedings. So again, I call this meeting to order, the Addison Public Library Board meeting, Tuesday, April 20th, 2021 at 6:30. So roll call vote. Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Here.
Maria Sincool,
Here.
Linda,
Here.
Robert,
Yes.
Judith,
Here.
I call for a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second. I'll second Robert.
A second by Judith. Roll call vote. Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Maria Sincool,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Judith,
Yes.
Motion passes. So next, we'll move on to comments from the public. Mary, did we have any public?
We have none.
Okay. And seeing also that there's no one present even in our meeting, so no comments from the public. So we'll move on to the report by our treasurer.
The revenue received in March is not realized. It's $26,192.02. Year-to-date revenue is $5,761,962.33. Expenditures expended in March are $503,874.10. Year-to-date expenditures, $4,344,943.01. Why is there delay? I don't know. Disbursements, $214,744.34, plus the March payroll of $302,968.59. Grand total for March disbursements, $517,712.93. And as we do know that May 1st begins our new fiscal year. So that's around the corner.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Are there any questions? No? Fantastic. So next we'll move on to the consent agenda. So I ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda that consists of the meeting minutes from the March board meeting, the special board meeting held on April 7th, and the treasurer's report as presented.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
So motion by Mary Ann,
I will second.
Second by Piscopo. Roll call vote, Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Mary Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
yes,
Maria Sinclair,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Judith.
Judith, sorry,
Judith.
you're on mute, Judith. I can see you saying yes. Judith, you're on mute.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Judith. Motion passes. So next, we'll move on to reports. Is there anything, Mary, that you want to update us on related to staff reports?
No, I was asked before the meeting about the mother goose, and we still have no baby geese yet, but any day now we're expecting them. Beyond that, I'm
Wow.
happy to answer questions on our reports.
Amazing.
Any other comments?
I need to start taking notes when you read these because you kind of forget where you wanted to be. There is so much in these that you're so impressed by.
Yep.
I do have a comment about the library cards, I'm sorry to say. So I'm having a hard time believing that
Right.
we are way down on that list of all even local libraries. I do not believe either we are doing something different than they are. And I know your comment
Yeah.
said that they might not weed through the cards or, but do you think we could maybe, is it worth having a little task force maybe that contacts these libraries and sees where they get their figures from?
Yeah, we can do that.
If you don't think that that's valuable in terms of using an employee to do that, I mean, that's fine, just say so.
Yeah, it won't take long at all to find out how often they purge their databases, how often cards are required to be renewed at each library. We can gather that information. If you read through the strategic plan report that we will get to in a little bit on the agenda, it is something that we as a staff want to work on,
Sure.
raising our own numbers.
I did see that
So I
because
think they're
I really truly believe we do a remarkable job. And
Yeah.
these figures do
Right.
not portray that.
I do know North Lake is not on this list, but I recently learned from the director of the North Lake Public Library that their cards are good for 10 years. Your library card only expires once every 10 years, whereas ours is once every 3 years. So it's possible that some of these other communities also have longer time periods like that, which would make a difference.
And
I
I guess
hope
I'd like to know how Bloomingdale, what do they do to get 64% of people having a library card?
They hand them out on the corner. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, then we should do that.
I think so too.
We do try to bring our staff out into the community. We will do it at Rock and Wheels. We do it at other events in town. But we do have to comply with state law and verify that the person receiving the card is eligible for the card. And so sometimes
course.
when we are outside of our building, people don't have the right documentation with them to verify their residency status. But we certainly have done, and once we get further away from this pandemic, we will again try to go out into the community and sign.
Because
people
I
up for
saw
cards.
that figure really dropped to 28% on that report later somewhere else, which, I mean, that just
Yep.
doesn't make sense to me.
Mhm. Yeah,
I know I bring this up almost every meeting, and I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, that's why it was in the report, because you asked for it, and it is fair for us to look at and reasonable for us to be concerned. It gives us a
but
clear.
excuse me, if Addison does in fact have a smaller readership, I think they're very loyal. I think the people that come to Addison Library are very loyal. Would you guys agree with me on that? That they come back
I would.
again and again and
Yeah.
again? Yeah. So
It's
keep
also
that in
important
mind
to
too.
remember that you don't need a library card to attend a program or to use a computer at the library. I believe there are a lot of residents who regularly use the library, but they use it in ways that don't require them to get a card. And so they've
Oh.
just never taken a step. You really only need a card if you're checking materials out to take home. And so I don't know quite how to measure that, except to keep in mind this is only one way to measure our success. And if we look at program attendance or computer use or other factors, those numbers are important as well. And we could require people to have cards to do those things, but in some ways
Yeah.
that just presents a further barrier.
I think that might be counterproductive.
You
I don't want
do?
to give people
Yeah.
too many hoops to jump through.
I see.
But
Right.
if one of these communities does have a good marketing approach that they've thought of something that's unique and it works, let's adopt it and do the same thing. But I'm going to guess that it's probably, as you indicate, the records are probably not as accurate as ours. If they give a library card every 10 years, people have moved away. They're living in California with a library card from that community and does nobody any good. And I think we're better off doing it on a 3-year rotating renewal basis like that to have a more accurate record.
I also hope that the practice we've adapted this year of auto renewing cards, if we, we mail out a postcard to the person's address we have on file, and if the post office can deliver that for us and we can verify that person still lives at that address, we automatically renew their card. They don't need to come in and renew it on their own. That may help us retain some of these numbers.
There may be
So
a
it'll take
cultural,
another year or two to see what effect that has.
there may be a cultural issue too, that some families have one card for the family, which might be a good
Yes,
idea in a way
that is.
because mom and dad can keep track of materials a little easier and whatnot than all the kids having their own cards. So if somebody's coming to the library and using it and they're one card per family, well, that's still usage of our facilities.
Correct.
I have a question on the social services report. I'm just curious, I see here that we had 5 incidents of translating and interpreting services. Would you kind of elaborate on what kind of service we offer in that respect? That's on page 2.
Okay. It really could be anything. It might be one of these other categories as well. It might have been Marcy. Marcy speaks Spanish, and so it might have been a patron who speaks limited English but needed assistance with one of these other categories, and so maybe Marcy called the township on their behalf and provided translation between a
Okay.
township resource and the
Good.
library, or a state agency, or filling out a form.
Okay.
That's my best guess. I'll have to
Okay.
follow her to be
Well,
sure.
that's a good service to have.
If you scroll down through the rest of the report, the one-on-one sessions are categorized there in the third column. And you can see translation listed whenever Marcy assisted someone with filling out a form or something. One example is registering for English language learning classes at the library, and the patron needed help filling out the form since the patron doesn't know English yet to fill the form out. So that's one example, but you can see the 3 in there.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Brooke. That's on page 4, the pink.
Yeah.
I didn't get past 3, I guess. I thought that was the end since there was a lot of white space.
We do a lot of stuff.
Most libraries have this business service person that is dedicated to just that, or are we somewhat unique in that?
I would say larger libraries do. For a library our size, we might be somewhat unique. Do you know, Brooke, of other sort of mid-sized libraries that have this position?
No, not particularly, but it's not uncommon for different librarians to be subject specialists, but that may not be their title. So at a neighboring library, they might have someone who's really good at genealogy, someone who's really good at reader's advisory, and someone who's great at using the business databases, but that's not their sole job. That's just kind of what they're really good at.
Has it been about 2 years since that position was created, or is it?
Yeah.
I love that for our community just because of how much retail and how much industrial, how many businesses there are that probably, I think she's doing a great job, and I have a kind of soft spot for that position. So I follow it and I love it.
Yes. That's great.
It's a part of the community we were not reaching before we created this position. And Leslie is amazing. She's just really done a phenomenal job with it. So we did a good job with hiring, and it is an important position for our particular.
That's awesome.
Are there any other comments also related to the monthly statistics?
Just real quick. So as all the departments were drawing their numbers together, at the same time, they're doing their strategic plan for the next number of years. Is that correct?
3 years, yes.
Boy, that's amazing. Busy month, huh? Yeah. Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll move on to the Friends of the Library report. I'll just read over the information. Right, the Friends of the Library met on March 17th for the first time in several months. Their staff liaison that the Friends of the Group provided the following report. The Treasurer's report balance through February 2021 is $15,742. Membership committee reports 21 members have paid dues as of this date, including 3 new members that were obtained via community engagement department, distribution of Valentine's Day activity bags, as well to the Addison Park District Senior Group. The Friends were also were given a presentation on the State of Illinois Open Meetings Act and their options of continuing to derive their nonprofit status by being a legal entity under APL, us making them subject to the Open Meetings Act or applying for a 501c3 status. The board voted to maintain its affiliation with the library and to complete the online OMA training by the next meeting. The Friends also approved a staff request for $500 for 1,000 books before kindergarten, and another request for $2,190 for 2 online high school scholarships at $1,095 each. The next meeting of the Friends will be Wednesday, May 19th at 4 p.m. So then next, I will move on.
Could I ask a question real quick? How do they decide who gets those scholarships?
I think it's a need base, correct, Mary? Financial need base?
Yeah, people apply for them. And if they meet the qualifications, then our staff conducts an interview and then determines if the person qualifies. It's sort of first come, first serve based on qualifications. But there is a screening process to make sure the candidates are a good fit for this type of online program. So we're not investing in someone who won't have the capacity to follow through on it or to be successful. But they're paired with it.
Are the applications like here at the library? Or how do they get those applications?
They're on our website or here in the library by talking with staff on the second floor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
So next we'll move on to new business. We have a lot of items on our agenda. So the first is just an action item. So the resolution 2020 to 2021-004 honoring our library trustee Christopher Pudelek. I'll read the resolution that we have. The resolution of commendation to trustee Christopher Pudelek for his service to the Addison Public Library. Whereas Christopher Pudelek is a dedicated and valued member of the Addison Public Library Board of Trustees, and whereas during his tenure on the board, Mr. Pudelek has served as a devoted champion for the library and its mission, its values, and core services. And whereas Mr. Pudelek served on the board during a particularly challenging time, demonstrating unwavering support and advocacy for transforming and reimagining library services, allowing the library to continue to safely serve the community and its residents during an unprecedented worldwide pandemic. And whereas Mr. Pudelek has embraced his duty as a trustee to support the library as a fundamental institution in a democratic society, upholding the principles of intellectual freedom and contributing to an informed citizenry. And whereas it is appropriate for this board to recognize the accomplishments and service that Mr. Pudelek has given to the Addison Public Library. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Addison Public Library Board extends its special thanks and appreciation to Mr. Pudelek for his devoted service and commends him for the excellence of his contribution as a library trustee. So, passed by the Library Board of Trustees today of Addison Public Library Board, DuPage County, Illinois, 20th day of April. Now we're going to conduct a vote. Correct, Mary? Correct. So, roll call vote. Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Yeah.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Maria Sincool,
Yes.
Linda Durick,
Yes.
Robert,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Judith,
Same, yay. Yes,
So
Well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
now, and again, Christopher, this is not our last. I'm sure it won't be. So again, we hope that you continue, and hopefully we'll see you back on here again.
Yeah. I will continue to be a great supporter of the Addison Public Library, and these past 8 months have been a great experience. Thank you.
Chris, when we get the resolution signed by our board president and secretary, we will have a nice copy to share with you. And there is also a small gift that goes with that. So I will follow up with you later once we have the signatures in place, and we'll figure out a way to get those to you.
Thank you. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to our second action item, which is another resolution, Resolution 2020/2021-005, honoring library trustee Marianne Fotopoulos. The resolution of commendation to trustee Marianne Fotopoulos for her years of service to the Addison Public Library Board on the occasion of her retirement. Whereas Marianne Fotopoulos has served as a member of the Board of Trustees of the Addison Public Library for a total of 12 years, serving 4 years as board treasurer, 4 years as vice president of the board, and 4 years as the chair of the Policies and Planning Committee, 4 years as chair of the Finance Committee, and 2 years as a Board of Ethics officer. And whereas during these years of dedicated service to the library and its goals, Ms. Fotopoulos has demonstrated sound judgment, extensive knowledge of her community, and a great interest in the growth and improvement of library services. And whereas during her tenure, Ms. Fotopoulos played an instrumental role in supporting the Perks and Possibilities Cafe, a partnership with DuPage High School District 88, which opened inside the Addison Public Library in 2010. And whereas Ms. Fotopoulos has consistently embraced her duty as a trustee to support the library as a fundamental institution in a democratic society, upholding the principles of intellectual freedom and contributing to an informed citizenry, strengthening the community she was elected to serve, as demonstrated by the expansion of library hours, the introduction of new collection formats, including ebooks and other digital platforms, and the development of new services such as the library's creative studio and the elimination of library fines during her tenure. And whereas it is appropriate for this board to recognize the accomplishments and years of service that Ms. Fotopoulos has given to the Addison Public Library. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Addison Public Library extends its special thanks and appreciation to Ms. Fotopoulos for her devoted service and untiring efforts, and commends her for the excellence of her contributions as a library trustee. Thank you, Marianne. So I would like to say pass, but we need to do a roll call vote. Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Marianne,
Yes.
Maria Sincool,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes,
Judith,
Yes,
So it is passed by the library, by the Board of Library Trustees of the Addison Public Library, DuPage County, Illinois, on the 20th day of April by unanimous vote. Thank you, Marianne, for all your years here.
And the same thing for you. We'll get you a signed copy of the resolution and a gift that I will trot over to Village Hall for you when we get it together.
Parking lot won't be done for another 3 weeks.
I can manage.
So thank you. So next, we'll move on to our next action item, which is the replacement of the self checkout stations. So I make a motion for the approval of to purchase 2 Biblioteca 1000 library self check kiosks.
second,
Second by Judith, a motion by Maria. Thank you. So discussion on the motion.
these look great.
Correct. Any other comments?
what is the
Thought
timeline?
and
to get them
research
up and
went
running?
into this decision, so I'm happy with the library's choice.
Robert, did you have a comment? Did you say
Yeah, what
timeline?
is the timeline for having these up and running?
So if you approve the motion tonight, I will place the order tomorrow. And then we are hoping to get them in the building within the next 6 to 8 weeks. We think we might get them in earlier than that. They do have some in stock right now. But the rep from Biblioteca was not positive that they had not been spoken for yet. So the longest it would take would be 8 weeks. But I am hoping we can get them in sooner than that.
Great, thank you.
So then roll call vote, Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Marianne,
Yes.
Maria Sincool,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes,
Judith,
Yes,
Motion passes. So next we move on to the strategic plan. And I apologize. So I printed out the copy. I need to make a motion correct on the strategic plan. I think because it cut me.
We need a motion from someone.
So I make a motion to approve the strategic plan as presented. I don't know if that's correct. Sorry, I'm like cut off on my paper.
You know,
Oh.
second.
Second by Linda. Discussion.
I thought it looked great. One thing I missed was any particular mention mention of training of the staff or changes that might be made for or just the marketing for the disabled population in Addison. I know
Sure.
go ahead.
Oh, sure. So we are including that under the access and equity.
Right. So
grouping there. And so we do have plans for doing that. So what you're seeing here is some of the bigger picture things that are going on. And then we have lots of activities under all of these. And
Right.
one of those is advertising how we can accommodate all kinds of different needs for residents to attend programs or to help advertise more home delivery and in different ways we can help patrons and from having interpreters and doing things like that. So that is in the nitty gritty of the plan.
Got it. Thank you, Brooke. Got it.
When we talk about that acronym EDISJ, which is equity, diversity, inclusion, and social justice, it's really the inclusion piece of that is where that would be covered.
Great. Good. Thank you.
I would like to just recognize Brooke for her incredible leadership throughout all of this. And we had, as she explains in here, several subcommittees working under the steering committee, and Brooke juggled all of those many staff members coming at this from many different directions in such an incredibly impressive way to pull this together. How many employees did we have all together working on different pieces of this?
We had 21 staff who actively participated in committees to help create this. And that's not including conversations that happened outside the committees. So someone from children's might go back to the children's department to kind of talk about ways they can improve marketing there and then come back to the committee. So at a minimum, 21 people attended a lot of meetings.
Well, it all came together and looks great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. It's like 3-tiered chess, right? Or 5-tiered chess.
We had these incredibly detailed spreadsheets from each subcommittee, and I couldn't imagine how we were going to take all of the data from that and put it in something we could present to you that would make sense. And Brooke, with a little help from Emily, our marketing and graphics person, made that happen. So good job, and thank you, Brooke.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good job.
So next, roll call vote.
Oh, I have a question, sorry, while we're on this. I don't know if you saw on the very last page, the next steps about presenting the strategic plan updates a bit differently to the board. And instead of having each department kind of list what they're working on each month, I'd like to pull it together into one quarterly report. So that way it's a bit easier to track our progress and where we're doing and include more timeline and context to how we're moving along on the plan. And I just wanted to make sure that all of you were like that approach and that idea to try it. And if you hate it, we can do something different too.
I like the quite honest with these. Then it's not as, I don't want to say overwhelming, but it gives us a detailed outline or timeline of when things are being met. Sorry, Linda, I know you were going to say something.
No, that's okay. But not taking the place of the reports that are being included, right?
No, they would just be, there would just be one submission for the strategic plan. They would still tell you about programs that they're doing and that kind of thing, but putting
in their monthly report, right?
Yes, yeah, in the monthly report, but putting it more in context so that way we know that we've done X, Y, and Z,
Mhm.
and X was successful, Y was not, and this is what happened or didn't, and to so we can have some more thoughtful discussions around the strategic plan. I also think that
Mhm.
will help staff a lot too, to have a report like that. So that way staff at all levels know what's going on and how their contributions are important.
I would be in favor of that because 30 days rolls around pretty quick. And a report, every report you don't have to write is time you could be doing something productive. So having that quarterly basis, I don't know that we need to be up to date on a 30-day interval of it. A quarter is fine with me.
Good.
All right, great. Well, we'll give that a try, and you can let me know if you don't like it.
Thank you, Brooke.
Mhm.
Donna, roll call vote?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Maria Sinclair,
Yes.
Linda Durek,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Judith.
Yes.
Motion passes. The next action item is related to our working budget. So I make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022 working budget as presented.
second,
Second by Mary Ann. Discussion or questions about the working budget.
I do want to point out that this version being presented tonight is slightly different than what I presented to you last month. There are 3 budget lines, other contracts, community engagement programming, and organizational memberships that have increased since the budget draft was presented last month. The increases in each of those reflect planned activities related to the new strategic plan. And our proposed expenditures are still less than our anticipated revenue. Within $270,000 roughly.
$270,457.46.
That's correct. Thank you. I didn't have it right at my fingertips.
I gig. When there's a dollar sign, I focus.
Okay.
So given that with the motion, we have accepted this working budget with that understanding of those changes. You want the motion to be read that way?
It's up to the board. The motion is, I think, approving what's being presented tonight. I just wanted each of you to be prepared or to understand that if you were comparing it to what we presented last month at the Finance Committee meeting,
Right.
there were 3 changes.
Right.
So on that note, we can take the vote.
Correct. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? No? Okay, Donna, roll call?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Maria Sinclair,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Judith.
Yes.
Motion passes. So next we'll move on to the next action item, which is the director salary. So last month we actually talked about the salary, but we didn't vote on it. So I make a motion to increase the library director salary by 5% from 145,000 to 152,250 annually for the fiscal year 2022.
second,
Second that.
Yeah.
Second by Mary Ann. Discussion. I
Done.
apologize. Yes, I apologize for not voting on it last month.
I didn't realize it until we went back to look at the recording when Donna was doing minutes. So I should have said something then and it slipped past me as well.
but this is retroactive to the meeting,
Well, it won't take effect until the new
fiscal year.
fiscal year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
May 1st. Yeah.
Okay. Roll call vote, Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Maria Sincool,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes,
Judith,
Yes,
Motion passes. So next we'll move on to our last action item, which is the resolution for 2020/2021-06 appropriation resolution. So I make a motion, I apologize, it's really lengthy. Motion to approve the resolution of 2020/2021-006, resolution comprising statement of financial requirements of the library for inclusion in the appropriation of the corporate authority for library purposes for fiscal year 2021/2022 and statement as to accumulations and reason therefore as presented.
second, this is basically
Second by Mary Ann.
housekeeping.
Correct. Second by Mary Ann. So are there any questions on the resolution? I know the information's in there, but any questions or discussion? Or any comments, Mary?
No, just to clarify, once this is approved by the library board, I will send it to Roseanne Benson, the finance director at Village Hall. And then, as the title of the resolution implies, it will be included in the appropriation of the corporate authority or the Village of Addison. So our appropriation gets appended to the village appropriation. The appropriation doesn't collect any tax dollars. It doesn't set any planned spending for the library. It's the legal document that authorizes us to spend money for the coming year. So it's just a legal requirement, and under state law, ours gets appended to the village appropriation document.
thank you.
So then roll call vote, Donna?
Chris,
Yes.
Maria Piscopo,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Maria Sincool,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Robert,
yes,
Judith.
Yes,
Motion passes. So now we'll move on to correspondence and announcements. So we'll look at library reviews. Are there any comments? Discussion? I liked reading the article, libraries as second responders.
yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again, Maria?
Sorry, I
second
like
responders.
second responders, the library second responders. I feel like libraries do so much.
mhm.
So we were so far ahead in dropping those overdue fees, right? How long ago was that? That was a while.
Yep.
It was 5 years in November. It'll be
Really?
5 years in November, yes.
And we haven't missed the nickels.
That's unbelievable. Oh,
Yeah, that's Naper, but
Yeah.
Mm.
Are there any other comments?
some that we'll just keep to ourselves.
Not
No.
for this board meeting. I did like reading the lifelong patron in the Addison Independent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine not even having, I can't even imagine not having a library, that it was, that they didn't even have a building.
It was in the
Right.
basement of the original Addison government building.
Village
That's
Hall,
where the
yeah.
original library was.
Right.
Yeah. We had staff who, we ran reports of active library card holders who were seniors. And during some of the slower times during the pandemic, when we were looking for things to keep staff busy, they called patrons to make sure they were aware that we had home delivery available and curbside pickup. And even when the building was closed, we had services available. And that's how we discovered this patron. She was just very chatty and thrilled to be called and told
Oh,
us
wow.
about her history with the library. And when the department head shared the story with me, I passed it on to Emily, who recognized this is a story we can tell.
That would be kind of a cool thing to expand on a little bit, to like have a celebratory, maybe on an anniversary or something like that, to bring in some of these patrons that have been original card holders with Addison. Kind of have a celebration. That would be kind of cool.
We have another longtime patron who apparently at one time the Park District was also located inside the old Village Hall. And she's shared a story with me about how she would wait at the library while her daughter went to dance lessons at the Park District in the same building. And she knew when dance lessons were over because she'd hear her tapping down the hallway in her tap shoes and tapping her way into the library.
I love it. Where everybody went, shh.
Yeah. Cute.
It also had a different smell. The books were, for some reason, there was a certain smell in old libraries.
Kind of like musty home smell, huh?
To this day, I just remember the smell at River Forest Public Library. It was like books. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the binding.
Maybe
the
it was
glue.
the materials that they used.
Yeah, the
you know,
binding
that-
and the glue and the,
Mhm.
Certain
The
smells you never
mimeograph.
forget.
yeah.
Right. Right.
And then are there any other comments related to the articles or even other correspondence?
No, Marianne, I would have never guessed it was 12 years.
Yep.
Right? I would have never thought that it was, even for me, it just doesn't feel like it could possibly be that long.
12 years. And the one thing I want to say, I don't think I sat on my hands for the last 12 years. I took approach as a trustee, and I encouraged the new ones and the current ones to get involved. If Mary needs a volunteer for an anniversary committee, or to stand outside when we did a recycling day and a very cold day to get our green flag, or to help with perks, or to even be there to hand out tickets for the Lego show, whatever it was, don't just sit in a boardroom. Please, please participate and get involved, because that was the best of the 12 years.
Thank you.
Are you going to shed a tear?
Yes.
Marianne's going to
She's
shed a tear.
absolutely right. I don't think I ever
wish
called
I
her-
could hug you. Hug, hug, hug.
And she brings up
Thank
really
you.
good points, and thank you, Marianne. It's important for us as board members to be involved in our community.
I
Thank
don't
you.
think you ever said no to a single thing we've asked, and we've asked a lot of you over 12 years. So,
From shrinking books for the friends
yeah.
that made thousands of dollars to making a diaper cake.
Yeah.
And Chris, even though your time was short on our library board, we do appreciate everything that you did for us, and we do hope to see you back at some point.
Thank you.
Well, and the Historical Society is a jewel, Chris. Thank you for all you do for that. I know I haven't been over there in a while, but I used to come more. I gave you some antiques. But
Well,
a candle maker. I
The
gave you the
museum
candle
reopens
maker.
tomorrow.
Great. I'll be
Oh,
back. But
Good.
thank you for that. And Marianne, thank you so much for all you've done. Really.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marianne, for everything you've done for our community, for being on this library board. Seeing as there are no more comments or questions, actually,
I have
any
one
additional
quick
discussion, I apologize.
Okay. Do you want to continue meeting via Zoom in future months? this is working fine, we can keep doing this. I need you as board members to tell me when you want to resume meeting in person.
So how does
Think of the
everyone-
money you're saving by not having Angelo tape these meetings.
Well, there's that.
Let's give it a couple more months and readdress
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I told Mary I'm comfortable if everyone wants to meet like this for next month, as not knowing, and we could still meet, correct, Mary, on Zoom like this?
And I would say actually for next month, we will be in phase 2 of the parking lot project, so that might make it even more challenging to come in person. So
Correct.
we can wait until after that. One of our new trustees will not be available to participate in the community swearing in ceremony. But I have verified with Lucille Zuccaro that she can legally swear him in over Zoom. So I will arrange to have
Right.
that done immediately prior to the start of the May board meeting then, if we're meeting again virtually. And then we will have to have him come in and sign the oath of office paperwork, and we'll get that back to Lucille.
Which I get to type, by the way.
Okay, well, thank you. I will get it back over to you at Village Hall then, as soon as we get the signatures on it.
Well, the oath of office that they sign on April 29th, I typed those there,
Mhm.
and then the judge signs and Lucille signs.
Okay,
It's so nice not to have to either. I mean, I am there, but I am the
right.
hostess of the evening to make sure the refreshments are there.
Would you remind me what time it is on Thursday? The 29th?
I will have to check my email and get back to you unless
I
one of
believe
you guys know.
it's like
think
6, isn't it?
6 or 7?
6 or
I-
7.
Yes,
The-
I
the-
apologize, because I can't
I
attend.
have 7 on my calendar, but I
Well, there
might
you
not be
are.
right.
The
Correct.
people who are being sworn in have to come earlier so they can go up to 2002 to line up.
Right, that's right.
It's
Okay.
6:30 for us to get there at, but it starts at 7.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
it's a wonderful ceremony.
Mhm.
It's such a cool ceremony. It was a highlight of my life. With the color guard and an opera singer and,
Oh.
Are there cannons that you're gonna
No,
howitzers
no,
or
no,
something?
no. No, no,
no cannons.
Masks are required.
correct. But thank you. So then next month we'll meet on Zoom then, just let everyone know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
So thank you for everyone. Thank you, Marianne. So I make a motion, right, to adjourn?
Second,
Second by Marianne.
good night.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Mary. And thank you, Brooke. And thank you, everybody.